After 3 years, a southern Indiana man has learned his fate after putting an officer's safety at risk during a domestic incident back in 2020.
Sebastian Beck, who already pleaded guilty to battery charges, has now been sentenced to 16 years behind bars. WHAS11's Taylor Woods and photojournalist Jessica Farley report.
Sebastian Beck will now serve 16 years after pleading guilty to charges of attempted battery against an officer and domestic battery. It all circles around a domestic disturbance on September of 2020 on Gordon Drive in New Albany. That's where New Albany police officer John Davidson tried to de-escalate the incident by asking Beck to step out of a vehicle. Beck refused, instead driving the vehicle towards Officer Davidson. Officer Davidson then shot Beck and the vehicle 4 times.
He put his life literally on the line against an over 3,000-pound vehicle coming at him. That's courage. That's a hero.
Lane's team is now introducing an initiative to hold violent offenders accountable. Floyd County, like other areas in Kentuckiana, is dealing with an uptick in domestic disputes. That includes the 2022 shooting death of New Albany mother Brandy Douglas, who was killed by her husband Sherrock Douglas. He was found guilty of murder and sentenced to life in prison in October, and now we know Sebastian Beck's fate. Prosecutors are also starting a new program shifting resources to meet the challenge.
We're going to continue to involve ourselves in training with the New Albany Police Department,
with the hope it'll send a message that domestic violence won't be tolerated. In New Albany, Taylor Woods, WHAS 11 on your side.
Beck has already served 850 days in jail, which is more than 2 years. That will go toward his 16-year sentence. Since the year 2020 incident, Officer Davidson has been promoted within the police department. We'll mention if you or someone you know needs help, the domestic abuse hotline is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The number for it is right there on your screen. We also have a list of resources for you on our website, WHAS11.com.
The man who was shot by police earlier this month after allegedly running from officers during a traffic stop will go back behind bars. Marvin Smith had been on home incarceration. He's facing several charges, including fleeing from police and wanton endangerment after the chase near Churchill Downs. Yesterday in court, a judge heard testimony from LMPD officers who say Smith pointed a gun with a light at them multiple times. It's something defense attorneys say body cam video disputes.
Our client got out and he ran, but the body-worn cameras that we've seen, and we've seen it, he didn't point his gun at anyone. He's a 250-pound man running as fast as he can in the opposite direction. He was shot in the back.
I know that he was running with a loaded handgun and refusing to drop it. He was running towards a public area where there were people in the roadway behind them, approaching the University of Louisville campus, multiple open restaurants, refusing to drop the handgun, and at some point, yes, he was shot.
Ultimately, the judge reinstated Smith's $50,000 bond, removing him from home incarceration and placing him back in jail. The judge also found probable cause for the trial to move forward, sending it to a grand jury.
Defense attorneys for the first man charged in connection with the death of Bardstown mother Crystal Rogers are asking for a lower bond. Joseph Lawson is charged with tampering with physical evidence and conspiracy to commit murder. In a motion filed yesterday, Lawson's attorneys called his $500,000 bond excessive and oppressive. They argue because Lawson is a paraplegic and confined to a wheelchair, he can't harm another person, and it would be hard for him to flee. In an interview with our Shay McAllister, the attorney for Joseph's father, Steve Lawson, said he believes police have built a case around solicitation.
Do you think that Brooks Hauk paid Joseph Lawson to help in the murder of Crystal Rogers?
I think the Commonwealth has been trying to establish that a payment was made. As to who that payment was made to and when it was made, I'm not privy to that information yet.
Attorneys requested his bond be lowered to reflect his socioeconomic status and to allow him to go on home incarceration.
All right.